Before we begin, I want to welcome you to our channel. For those who are new here, our mission is to share genuine Christian testimonies from around the world, spreading the powerful message of God's kingdom. We focus on stories about Jesus, the afterlife, heaven and hell, and other Bible-related topics, bringing them to you in engaging story form twice or 3 times a week. We invite you to become a member of this family by subscribing to our channel. God bless you as you do so. Today's experience was sent to us by a sister. She revealed a mind-blowing reason why she started prostitution and how it sent her to hell, and saw a set of people in hell that you won't believe would end up in hell. Kindly stay to the end to fully understand her experience. Hello, Daily Renewal channel. I'm glad to share my testimony in your channel. I pray and hope that it saves many souls out there. My name is Lillian, and I grew up in London. From a young age, I was caught up in a life that pulled me farther and farther away from anything good. I knew right from wrong, but it was easier to ignore those nagging feelings. When I became a teenager, I started getting involved in things I shouldn't have, and by the time I was in my 20s, I found myself trapped in prostitution. It was never what I dreamed of, but life had a way of pushing me there. I had heard people talk about God and the Bible. In fact, several people tried to warn me about the life I was living. I even had moments where I felt something deep inside me, urging me to change. But I didn't listen. The money, the luxury, the attention from powerful men, those things felt too good to let go of. I was living a fast life, convincing myself that I had control. But the truth was, I was sinking deeper into a pit, and I didn't even know it. One evening, my friends and I were out at a club. It was a regular night for us. Drinks, laughter, and a crowd of men who thought they could buy us with money and gifts. As the music pounded through the speakers, I suddenly felt strange. A weakness spread through my body, and I couldn't explain why. I thought maybe it was just exhaustion or something I had eaten, but it grew worse quickly. I remember telling my friends that something was wrong. I could barely speak as I asked them to take me to the hospital. My vision started to blur, and before I knew it, I was lying on a hospital bed, unable to move or even breathe properly. Then I heard the doctor's voice. His words hit me like a blow. "She's gone." That was the moment everything went dark. I was no longer in that hospital bed. One moment I was there, surrounded by doctors and nurses, and the next, it felt as if my soul was being pulled downward. I couldn't stop it. My body felt weightless, but the force dragging me was strong, and the darkness around me seemed to thicken with every second. It was cold, colder than anything I had ever felt, and no matter how much I tried to fight it, I kept falling deeper into this suffocating blackness. Then, without warning, I found myself in a place I never imagined I would see. I was in hell. The atmosphere was oppressive. The heat pressed down on me, thick and unbearable, and the smell. It was like burning flesh mixed with rotting waste. All around me were people, countless souls crying in torment. I couldn't understand it at first, but as I looked closer, I began to recognize some of them. There were women just like me who had lived lives of sin, who had sold their bodies for temporary pleasures. I got to know this by the words they utter. It was then that I realized with horror that these were the souls of prostitutes, and I was one of them. Their suffering was beyond description. Fire engulfed them, yet it didn't consume them. The flames licked at their skin, burning them over and over, but they never died, never found relief. The look in their eyes was something I will never forget. Eyes filled with pure pain, regret, and hopelessness. It was like looking into a mirror, and what I saw shook me to my core. I wanted to scream, to run, but there was no escape. Every direction I turned, there was more suffering, more souls in anguish, more flames, more unending torment. As I stumbled through this place, I saw women bound in chains, being dragged through the fire by dark, shadowy figures. Their screams echoed through the fiery pits, begging for mercy, but none was given. Their pleas for forgiveness were swallowed by the inferno, and it was clear that their cries fell on deaf ears. The regret that flooded me was overwhelming. I could feel it like a weight pressing down on my chest, making it hard to breathe. I knew, deep down, that if I had only listened to those who tried to warn me, I wouldn't be here. So many times, people had tried to talk to me about God, about changing my life, about seeking forgiveness, but I ignored them. I thought I had time. I thought I could live my life the way I wanted. Now, standing in hell, I realized how wrong I had been. I fell to my knees, trembling. My life flashed before me. Every sinful decision, every time I had pushed God away, I had chosen my own desires, my own selfish pleasures, over the eternal love and grace that had been offered to me. Now, I was being shown the result of those choices, and the consequences were more terrible than I ever could have imagined. I don't know how long I was in that place. Time didn't seem to exist there. Every moment stretched on forever, and the pain never ceased. It was as if I was trapped in an endless cycle of regret, torment, and fear. I cried out for help, for someone to save me. I begged God to forgive me, to take me out of this place, but there was no answer. My cries were swallowed by the flames, just like the others. The silence from above felt like the heaviest judgment of all. I kept thinking about how foolish I had been. Everything I thought was important, money, pleasure, control, none of it mattered anymore. In that moment, all I wanted was one more chance. One chance to make things right, to turn away from the life I had lived. But it felt like it was too late. Please, God, I cried. If you can hear me, get me out of here. It was then that something changed. In the middle of my cries, I saw a light. It was faint at first, but it grew stronger. As the light grew brighter, I saw an angel appear. He was unlike anything I had ever seen. Radiant, powerful, yet calm and filled with peace. The angel reached out his hand and said, "You have been shown the fate of those who refuse to repent. But your time has not yet come." Couldn't believe it. Was I really being rescued? The angel lifted me up, and suddenly, the pain and heat of hell began to fade. He looked at me with eyes full of compassion and said, "You have been given another chance, Lillian, but you must go back and tell the world what you have seen. Tell them that God is merciful, but He is also just. That you are rescued doesn't mean everyone will be rescued like you. You must sound this great warning to them now before it's too late for so many of them. A lot of them are on their way to this darkness, and is through this your encounter that you can rescue as many that will listen to you. Warn them, let them know that hell is real and they should turn away from their evil doings." The next thing I knew, I was back in the hospital. I heard the voices of doctors and nurses as they tried to revive me. My heart started beating again, and I gasped for air. My friends were standing around me, crying and holding on to each other. But I wasn't the same. The things I had seen in hell stayed with me, haunting me. I couldn't get the image of those tortured souls out of my mind. I knew that I couldn't continue living the life I had been living. Something had to change. After that experience, I knew I had to leave everything behind. The parties, the men, the money, it all felt empty to me now. I started attending church, something I hadn't done in years. I threw myself into reading the Bible, trying to understand the God who had given me another chance. It wasn't easy. My old friends didn't understand the change. They tried to pull me back into the life I had lived before, but I knew I couldn't go back. I had seen hell with my own eyes, and I couldn't pretend it didn't exist. As I grew stronger in my faith, I felt God pushing me to share my testimony. It wasn't enough to just change my life. I had to tell others what I had seen. I started speaking in churches, to small groups at first, then to larger audiences. I told them about the torment of prostitutes in hell, how real it was, and how important it was to turn away from sin. Many people were moved by my story. Some cried, some prayed for forgiveness, and some gave their lives to Christ right there and then. It was clear that God was using my experience to reach others. Today, I am a completely different person. I am no longer the woman I once was. I am a follower of Christ, a lover of God, and someone who is dedicated to His kingdom. The life I used to live seems like a distant memory, one I am thankful to have escaped. I know that my purpose now is to share the message that God gave me. He is merciful, but His judgment is real. I want to help others avoid the path I took and find the peace and forgiveness that only Jesus can offer. And so, I share my story with you, in the hope that it will make a difference. Don't wait until it's too late. Turn to God now while there is still time. Heaven is real, but so is hell, and the choices we make in this life matter more than we realize. I want to leave you with one word. Please, if you love your soul and don't want to be tormented after living in this wicked world, please don't joke with God. Do your best to serve Him and make Him proud as His creature. He loves you, but His judgment is also part of His love. He doesn't go back to His words. His words are so straight and it doesn't go back. My friends, if you are opportune to come across this video, please don't say I'm not a prostitute, so because of that it doesn't concern me. Please, I'm begging you, send this video to as many people as you can to save their lives, and as you do so, may God bless you. Thank you for listening to that wonderful testimony, and I hope you have been blessed. Kindly give video a like and share it to your loved ones, and don't forget to comment what you have learned from this testimony. If you have an experience you would want to share with people, a Gmail has been provided in the comments section. Kindly send all your testimonies there and we will attend to it as soon as possible. If you are yet to subscribe to our channel, please, this is your chance to join this wonderful family. We will be glad to have you in our numbers. God richly bless you.